This is GunNut226 with a handgun review. Today I'm looking at the Smith and Wesson 40F. I acquired this in the mid 1990s. It was my first service weapon. I also used it for concealed carry briefly, and then later on it became, now it's currently a home defense weapon. So that's just a little bit of background of why did I get this gun in particular. It's a little bit older model. The newer models are the Smith and Wesson 9VEs, and they're very similar in a lot of ways. I think there might be some minor improvements. Haven't done a lot of research on it, but by the time this version came out, a lot of the bugs have been worked out. So this gun has been very reliable, which I'll get into a little bit later for you. First off, this is a polymer-based frame. Down here, the base is all polymer. It's one of the first ones that was polymer, other than the more famous ones like Glock. Actually, Smith and Wesson actually got sued over this, and now they have to pay royalties to Glock for every one of these that they sell and have sold. I guess there was a lump sum settlement. Now there's another settlement in place, I guess, even today. So it is a lighter weight gun. So let's take a look on how much it does weigh exactly. Bring in the scale. So this weight is with no clip in, or no magazine in rather. Magazine is currently loaded. I did safety check, so that the gun is currently unloaded. It's 23 ounces, which is very reasonable. Even by today's standards, 23 ounces is a very reasonable weight. Especially back in the 1990s, mid-1990s, there wasn't a lot out there as far as lightweight goes. The slide is all metal, as well as the barrel, and the major internal parts are metal as well. The trigger is a polymer as well, so it does have a little bit of flex. I know some other people have said there's been issues with it. The guide rod is also a plastic or polymer. This is a 40 caliber Smith and Wesson. It's a Smith and Wesson 40, and I really like that. Here we can see we have a legal clip for where I'm at. It's a 10 rounder. I do have some 15 rounders as well, and I believe they're grandfathered in under the laws, because I registered it a long time ago. But as far as that goes, I didn't bring one down. I didn't bring one with me, but they're 15 round 40 caliber. If you don't have this limitation where you're at, and that still just holds true today, I believe. There's still 15 rounders that are available. Overall, it's been a good performer. The accuracy I've been getting, I've qualified with this piece in particular a couple times. Out at 25 yards, you're getting like 3.5-inch groups or so. It really depends on the person, but it really suited what I needed it for, and it served me well. I do really like the ergonomics of this weapon. I can hold it very well. You can see here the sight picture is, if I can line it up, you can see it's a pretty nice sight picture overall. I like this thumb relief that it has. The mag release is right here. It's somewhat difficult to get to because this lip is on there, so I thought about filing it down before, and but you know, it's never really given me an issue, so I haven't done that. Safety checked, nothing in there. Anyway, the trigger pull is something that I do complain about frequently. It is kind of heavy, and the trigger does flex slightly. Let's take a look at that quick. It is a very heavy trigger pull, probably about 13 pounds or so, I'm guessing. I don't have a scale to measure that. But overall, it's not a bad trigger. I like the safe trigger action. I think I like the one on the Glock a lot better. But it does the job. Here we have the serrations. The serrations give you a lot of good grip for rocking the slide. Your hand doesn't slip at all. There's no serrations on the front, and that's okay with me because that's not the way I typically do things. Overall, this is a loaded mag, so it goes in nice. You can see it mounts flush, which is really preferred. It drops out rather nicely, especially if it's loaded. Here you can see that the mag well is not really beveled or anything. Here's a little bit of a lip to help guide it in when you're doing fast reloads. That's something that that probably needs some improvement. I'm not sure if the newer ones are like that or not, but that is an area for them to improve on. Also here, the trigger guard. I know some people like the squared off trigger guard. It's not quite squared off, but it does have a little bit of traction here. It's not much, and it's somewhat flat, you can see. Here we have some stippling around the front strap, and the sides are pretty slick. I was riding a Hogue grip on this for a while, just a slip-on grip, and it was kind of a little bit too big for my hand. You can see my hand wraps around there pretty well, but when I had the Hogue grip on, it was my fingers were barely touching and overlapping. So I had a little bit trouble getting the right grip on it to hold it properly and get good accuracy. Overall, it's a fairly simple design. You can see the slide stop here doesn't protrude out from the side very much. That is really nice, especially when you're doing a carry on it, concealed carry. It's a little bit big for that. But I carried this under the shoulder holster in a horizontal fashion, not the vertical. I like the horizontal draw a lot better. So let's take a look at it. It breaks down pretty much like a Glock. So let's break it down quick. It's pretty straightforward and easy to do. So let's do that. Here we're going to hold this back, forward, pull the trigger, and it slides right off. First, let's look at the polymer frame. You can see the internals. You can see the rails here have some wear on them. I've shot many rounds through this gun, probably on the order of thousands of rounds, I would venture to say, and never really had a problem with it. Does standard servicing to it. But overall, it's been very reliable. You can see it has metal rails front and back on the fore and aft. Other than that, you can see the slide stop is very recessed into the frame, which is really nice for draw. Here we can take a look at the spring. Here, this is a polymer recoil spring. I do like it because I really do prefer the ones that are captured as opposed to the ones that aren't, like my SIG P226 is not a captured spring. I had thought about replacing this, and I probably should at some point, just because of the spring wear and how old it is and how many shots have been through this gun already. And if that's the case, I'll probably use a stainless steel one to replace it. Take the barrel out. You can see the barrel has a substantial amount of wear because I've used it quite a bit. It's a very good design. You can see maybe some rifling there in the barrel. Let's see if I can get the camera at the right angle. There we go. You can see a little bit in there. There is some wear in the rifling. I'm probably gonna have to need a new barrel eventually, but you know, it's held up really well so far, so I'm not really worried about it. Here's the slide. It's very basic. It's very strong. Never had a problem with it. None of the pins or anything like that have come loose. It's been a very reliable piece. So okay, let's put this back together. Put that in. Put the spring back in. Pretty straightforward. Put the slide on. Not a problem with it there. Rack it. Good to go. So here's the slide stop. See, it's very easy to release. I like where it's at. Don't really have to reposition very much, if at all, to do it. I typically like to use a slide stop. I know some people prefer just the method of just grabbing the slide and racking it, but I prefer the slide stop, especially on this piece. That's what I've trained with, and that's what I'm used to. Overall, it's been a really nice Perfomer. As far as the accessories for this gun, like I said before, I did have the Hogue grip, but it did provide a lot more traction for concealed carry. I wouldn't recommend it because the rubber really likes to grab the shirt and ride up. I guess it's not as much a problem when I was carrying it under the shoulder, under the arm option in a horizontal fashion. I never really had a problem with it. Other options, I mean, obviously it's an older model, so it doesn't have a rail up here in the front, which I really prefer now these days, especially for home defense. A lot of the encounters that you have problems with occur at night. So on to how this thing has been doing for me over the years. Like I said before, it's been very durable, ultra reliable. I don't recall ever having a jam stovepipe of any kind. I know there's been some people out there that have had issues, but that's not been my experience. It's been 100% Perfomer. I guess I might have got one of the good ones out there, and I guess I'm kind of lucky in that aspect. You can see the workmanship on this guy. It's very good. It's held up over the years, especially the polymer and the rails that I showed you before. You can see here, not sure if it's really showing up well, you can see how it's, I'm not sure if it was like this when I got it, but you can see the gap is not uniform. The gap is pretty much good up until you get towards the nose. I'm not sure if that was like that before, or if it's just a recent occurrence, or if it's I just shot it too much. If anybody out there knows, I haven't seen a lot of reviews for this specific model, but I haven't really seen that problem either with other ones. But anyway, it doesn't seem to be a real issue. I still don't have any jams with it. Never had any problems going into battery. It's just been a solid Perfomer. I really like this gun. It was a high value at the time. I know the Glocks were rather expensive, and this one wasn't quite half the price, but almost, of the Glocks of the day, back in the mid-90s. So that's actually why I went with this. It was a lot cheaper. Bought it with my own money, and that's basically why I purchased this. The other reason is the grip angle on the Glock is a little bit more rakish. This has more of a straight grip angle, more like a 1911, and I like that a lot better. It gives me a lot more natural pointing ability, rather than the Glock that's really not as natural. You can see it fits well in my hand. Don't really have any problems. I do have bigger than average hands, but it's still not a big deal. So it's a high value gun, especially for the day. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you like my videos, please subscribe.